Are we live? I believe we are. I'm Rob, your vibe coach. Even my teacup proves that. Morning vibes. I'm Rob. The reason I say vibe coach is this week is discussing uh, that profession that popped up in the late aughts, life coach. And I saw all these 22-year-old girls coming into our radio station to be interviewed on how they're a life coach on Instagram or MySpace or whatever. And I thought, how at 22 could you coach anyone on life? You've barely lived it yourself. And then discussing that earlier this week, I said, you know what I am? I'm a vibe coach. New profession. I discovered it in the year of our Lord 2025. And I've now claimed the title of vibe coach. Your first and only, there is none in existence, YouTube vibe coach. I also happen to live stream news commentary, which I call newsmentary. Uh, and again, I'm Rob. Hit subscribe and the notification bell. And the reason I call it newsmentary is because I'm honest, unlike Fox News and CNN and Newsmax and News Nation. Isn't it amazing how many news channels have been popping up? They're all opinion pieces too. They just want to pretend they're unbiased. They should just say biased. I'm very biased. Somebody asked me in the chat the other day, are you biased? Yes, I'm for the working people. I'm for the constituency of America. Something that the public servants, aka politicians, have forgotten to represent. So that's why I say hit subscribe. We got some very interesting news today. I had to go this live. I might actually go live a little bit later, but this breaking audio, this had to be tackled. We have to tackle this because old Slender Man IRL, I'm pretty convinced that I don't know who created Slender Man. Do you know who Slender Man is? Slender Man. It's a big mythological character. I like that our culture is still creating mythology. It's cool, you know? Because you got to think someday, 2,000 years from now, they'll tell stories like we tell stories of the ancients, Odin and his ravens. They'll tell stories of the Zuckerbergs and his Instagrams that summoned the Slender Men. And I think that's cool. You know, hi to the kids of 4025. That was a thing back then, Slender Man. So if you're not aware of Slender Man, that's him. I don't know his mythology. I don't know much about him, other than he obviously has like a anorexia problem, I'm guessing. Long fingernails. I really don't know. I don't know what's scary about him. Someone that skinny, just punch a hole through him, right? Okay, but Slender Man. I always wondered if whoever was creating that, whoever had created Slender Man, had got the idea after seeing this. I mean, it's identical. I don't know if you could tell that I switched the photos. That's Rick Scott. Oh, his name got cut out. Rick Scott of Florida. Oh, and we're going to get into him, and we're going to play some audio of him. A former CEO. He wants you to know he was a former poor kid, okay? He really wants you to know that. I think at this point it would be better for him to hide that he was a former poor kid, because only the worst of the worst people are the people who understand the pain of poverty and grow up to only kick the ladder out behind them or oppress other poor people. Like, that's the worst kind of person. Worst kind of person who is someone who understands the pain and suffering of whatever heartache you're enduring, and they go on to smush you while you're enduring that heartache. So worst kind of person, again. But I'm not sure. Again, we're talking about Rick Scott. Welcome to the live stream. I'm Rob. I jumped right out of the gate. I think it's because, you know, I'm a vibe coach. If I wasn't, why would my cup say it? And I drink that cup of tea even at night. It says morning vibes at night. That's how you know you're a real vibe coach. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? I could bring morning vibes to the PM. The PM gets confused. You ever wonder why the sun stays out late at night? That's because I got morning vibes at night. It's giving you a little dawn. It's giving you a little touch of dawn at nighttime. And I didn't mean to jump right in. I should usually wait till people join, but we're going to talk about Rick Scott playing the world's smallest violin because they want to, and I say they, and I mean they. Josh Hawley, Republican, absolute piece of human excrement that walks around and pretends to be a politician. Rick Scott is objecting to a bill proposed by Josh Hawley, another Republican, who I think most people, including all Americans, would agree that public servants, I'm not going to call them senators or congress people or presidents, public servants, that's why they go into this. That's why when they're trying to get your vote, they say, you know, I'm a humble public servant. They're supposed to serve the public, if Americans have forgot. There's a bill introduced by Hawley and somebody else to stop public servants from trading stocks from trading stocks. And now we have audio of Slender Man. Oh, sorry, I get confused. I'm so sorry. I can't tell the difference between that picture and this one. Can you? Maybe another picture of Slender Man? Yeah, this one even looks more like him. What the hell is going on? Can you guys tell the difference when I flip those? I cannot tell the difference. Looks like the same person. Whoever created Slender Man has to have been a Florida resident under the governance of Rick Scott. Most generic white guy name ever. That's a name you read and you go, oh yeah, that's a white skinny guy with the two first names. But this guy is out in public in his public servant saying, when did it become so horrible to want to make money? Rick Scott needs a safe place from people wanting to tell him, hey, while you're doing the public servants, you shouldn't be doing the stock trades. And he even claimed, I don't trade stocks while I'm here. And again, if you're new to the channel, I link everything we're planning to talk about down below. And you can easily look up Congress's stock trades. I don't know. We're in the year of our Lord 2025, correct, people? Well, it looks like, what is it called? Quiver? Quintaver? Quiver Quaint. Quiver Quant. Quiver Quantitative, that's what it is. It says quiverquant.com. But Quiver Quantitative has got old Rick Scott pegged at June 4th, 2025. So when and we're going to get to the audio. I have the audio, okay? And I link the audio down below if you just like to punish yourself, punish your ears. Maybe you're working out and you're thinking, you know, while I'm working out, I should obviously have my ears do a little workout and try to listen to this absolute brutal, woe is me, worth $553 million. Woe is me, Rick Scott playing the smallest violin, saying, oh, what would I ever do if I could not trade more stocks while I have the power and insights and behind the scenes knowledge that the people gave me their votes to have? Fucking crazy. It's crazy. And then he tries to play the old, I don't know if you're new to capitalism, but they love to play this card. Yeah, they take this one out of the deck. They go, when did it become bad to be a rich person who want to have money? Well, it's not, Rick. It's not. In fact, that's what people like me, the radical woke left, if you're into titles, I'm not. Just call me Rob and hit subscribe. But Rick Scott loved to play capitalism's favorite card. When did it become evil to make money? It didn't. Nobody's saying that. What we're saying is when you're doing a specific thing, I don't know, it's the same concept as laws. We have laws because it's not illegal to go 65 miles per hour. You know, like it's not. I wouldn't complain. You want to drive 65 in your cool electric Mustang? Go ahead. I don't give a shit. No one cares that you're driving 65 until you do it over a sidewalk and through people. That's when it matters. So Rick Scott, I don't know how you made it this far in life being this fucking stupid. But Rick, when you say when did it become evil to make money, you're like Joe Rogan said in yesterday's live stream podcast when I was playing the audio. What do you think? We're babies, Rick? No. We're saying when you're holding specific duties and have intelligence that the public doesn't have or influence over certain sectors in industry, then you probably shouldn't be publicly trading the monies and the stocks and stuff. Okay, Rick? I'm glad I could break that down for you, Rick. And if you're listening, hit subscribe and come back. I don't give a shit if you're a Republican. I don't care if you committed the largest Medicare fraud in all of American history while you were CEO of a company. Oh, we'll get into that too. I don't care. I want you to come back. I'm going to wake you up. That's what we do here. Remember, folks, I don't only drink tea, but I'm a fucking vibe coach. All right. Does everybody have their tea ready? His net worth is over $500 million. Yeah. Can I get a few thousand? Rick Martinez. Can I call you Ricky? Ricky Martin? Nez? Good to see you. Alma, number one. Rick, I appreciate you asking. And yes, you should be able to get a few thousand. Isn't it amazing? Can we just, I think there's enough people here now. I need everyone to hit subscribe, and only one of you have hit the thumbs up button. I can't hit, but can I hit the thumbs up button on my thing? 2 of you. Thank you. I'm assuming that was Rick. Come on, 70 people. Let's do it. Let's hype this up. Because we need to get Rick Scott's attention. If you want to get Rick Scott's attention, if you want to hold CEOs accountable when they commit crimes, because listen, let's just be honest real quick, okay? There's a big thing of Medicare fraud. He was the CEO. He was found to have, again, I don't like AI overview, but just so you have a preface, we got to lay the baseline for this story. Before we listen to Rick Scott fucking cry and need a safe space, I should be drinking Rick Scott tears. That's what that should say. That would be a true. Listen, I'm new at vibe coaching. A real vibe coach would have had a mug that said Rick Scott tears. But does everybody have their tea ready? Because before we listen to Rick Scott bitch and whine about not being able to trade stocks while he has your taxpayer-funded money paying for him to work, again, we're their boss. I think Americans have really long lost the fact that, like, the president just oversees shit. He's like middle management. We're his boss. We gave him the job. We pay for it. Okay? He works for us. And I'm sick of these perverts working for us. You know? I want him out. Donald. But Rick Scott, he works for us. And we should be able to say, no, while you're at work, you don't get to trade stocks, Brick. It should be that simple, right? You'd think America is about, like, we the people. You think it should be that simple that Rick Scott says, no, while I'm on the clock, I want to trade stocks. Who's against you think I'm evil because I want money? No, Rick. No. Let me clarify this for you, baby. We don't think you're evil because you want to make money. We think you're evil. Well, number one, because, hold on. Can anybody tell me the difference between that photo and this one? Please. Can anybody tell me the difference between that photo and this one? Is there a difference? Who created Slender Man? Do we even know, or did Slender Man create himself? Who created Slender Man? Because they have to have, A, lived in Florida at some point, B, been under the governance of Rick Scott, and C, just looked at this photo. Is this not... Watch, I'm going to change it. I know this might be tough for some of you to understand. I changed the photo. This is a different photo, guys. I can't tell the difference. Maybe I'm just getting old and my vision's bad, but I can't tell the fucking difference, people. Can you tell the difference, please, in the chat? Can anybody tell the difference? Dylan, in parentheses, monkey. Monkeys have come far. I cannot believe there's one named Dylan in the chat. I'm proud of you. The right to Congress and the Senate getting pay raises should have to pass a vote with the general public. Oh, God damn, Dylan. You come in with heat like that this early in the morning? My Christ. Absolute brilliant. It should. It should. Did everybody pay attention? Hit the like button for Dylan. Hit the subscribe button for Dylan. Okay? and then hit the notification bell. Dylan, you have to hit if I could press it, if I could use stuff, open doors with my feet, I believe it, Dylan. God damn. Gabe Windsor, you're hot. Are you talking to Scott? Mr. Rick Scott? Because if so, you need glasses. Good morning, Tweety71. How are you? Rick Scott is the Babadook. Do not insult the Babadook like that, domesticated demon. Domesticated demon. I didn't even read your name. Oh, you would know. You would know. But please hit the subscribe button for Dylan, in parentheses, monkey. He said, or she, my apologies again, if I don't want to mischaracter or misname anybody. Dylan said the right to Congress and Senate getting pay raises should have to pass a vote with the general public. Hit the like button if you agree. Hit the like button if you agree. I think that should be law. And the funny thing about that is if we put that in a bill, they would knock it down in a minute. Zhang Wei said, deport the Browns, and this is a good time for me to explain how my channel works. You're going to be in timeout for 24 hours. I don't know if any of my mods are here. Thank you, Dylan, for hitting subscribe. Could you pretty please say my name is Finley? Yes, Finley's World. There used to be a show in the 90s called Bobby's World with Howie Mandel. That's what your name reminds me of. Hi from Philly, Jump Chambers. What's up, Philly? Got family down in Philly. Love Philadelphia. But not the 76ers. Sorry, Celtics fan. Release the files. That's right, Big Smoke. I got to take a minute, though. Zhang Wei 3.0 got timed out for today. Come back tomorrow and try again. I am Rob. If you're new here, I do news commentary. I call it newsmentary. Come on, YouTube. Give me my own fucking genre. Give me my own genre on the side tab. Newsmentary. That's what Fox and Wall Street Journal and NBC and MSNBC and CBCs and DVDs, that's what they're all doing. They're giving you opinion pieces, and it's usually a narrative from their corporate overlords. I'm just talking to you like the people, and we just joke. Fuck the Celtics. Hey, get out of here, Kaima HD1. You never, ever disgrace the name of the Celtics in this house. I'm just kidding. Say what you want. But now that I said say what you want, there are a few rules on this channel. I don't think any of my mods are here. I'm going a little early because we got to talk about Slender Man. Oh, wait. Is that the Rick Scott picture? It's one of the others. The rules for this channel: no homophobia, no misogyny, sexism, no racism, and no hatred. Joke all you want, but as soon as you start acting like you were drinking from the the white fountain in the 1950s, you're booed the fuck out of here. I want to be very clear with that. So something Wei, whoever that was, Zhang Wei 3.0, said some shit where you just got to get the boot. I won't stand for racism. This isn't a channel for Nazis or new Nazis. Like my grandfather fought you motherfuckers in World War II. I ain't doing it on YouTube. You should be ashamed of yourself. Go put on Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror and stand in your bathroom and stare at the mirror for the whole 3 minutes of the song and think about where your life went wrong. Okay? Okay. Gotta say, I'm sick of scrolling through brain rot, shorts, habit, and seeing all the political mumbo jumbo. Didn't need to stop here, was my choice. America. You're right, Seth. You've grasped the concept of free will. It was your choice. There's also a big world outside of YouTube. I praise you for what you're doing, though. Thank you, Seth. Jerry Jackson. Liberals are Nazis. Okay, so we also, here's a great opportunity for me to explain. There are some people in America who are like peacocks, proud, beautiful peacocks, except the plumage of their peacockian feathers is stupidity. So that's what you're seeing in Jerry Jackson saying liberals are Nazis. Some people like to show off. They're like, I didn't even graduate elementary school, and I would like to tell you all about it. And we try not to fucking entertain those. So I just want to point this out because I know there's probably some new people here. And by the way, I am Rob. I do news commentary. We joke about the news because the news is a joke. We're going to talk about how in America, it's very uniquely American that CEOs normally don't go to prison. Rick Scott, before he went into public service, CEO of a healthcare company. What's up, Michael Perez? How you doing? God guys, I'm not please don't call me a liberal. Us woke. So we're going to talk about CEOs, how in America they uniquely don't go to prison, how Rick Scott was the CEO, his company was found guilty of fraud, the biggest fraud case in America. He, in the investigation, they said he was found to be liable for that. Okay, here's the story. Rick Scott was CEO of Columbia Healthcare something. Company was investigated for fraudulent billing. That means they charged the consumer one thing and then the insurance company the other. Very uniquely American. A record 1.7 billion in fine. They found that Rick Scott was doing illegal things. Yet now I don't understand how these slender men fail up. Like if you or I had to or were convicted of fraud of that scale, we would be forever in prison. But now he's senator in Florida. Oh God, you gotta love America. So we're going to talk about Rick Scott, and is Rick Scott the basis of the Slender Man lore? I don't know. Does anybody know who, when, where Slender Man was created? Did he just pop up on his own? Is it a historical thing? Was like Odin fighting Slender Man at one point? I don't know. But all I've assumed since the first time I locked eyes with those soulless, demonic beads in his skull, I said, is that an image where if you went to ChatGPT and said, give me a IRL in real life image of Slender Man, did that pop up? Creepypasta that became a part of cultural consciousness. Really? Was that it, Dylan? I believe you. If you side with either side, you're ignorant. Angel. Interesting. I like that. Woke brain rot. Become ungovernable. Let's see. Am I frozen? Chat, can you let me know if I'm frozen, if the internet's there? Let me know, infidel. See, because we rely on each other. This is an important lesson. Take the red, the Republican, the Democrat, take those hats off, okay? We as a community, we are a community. We rely on each other. Let me know in the chat if we're back or if I got to reconnect or disconnect or... Good Lord, the internet. You'd figure in the year of our Lord 2025. You would really figure. Year of our Lord 2025. Internet, because it's basically a utility everyone needs, that it would be just government funded, which means taxpayer funded, guys. When we say free healthcare, we mean our taxes not for bombs, for healthcare. Simple as that. I know it gets lost in the mix. Mango Tango money. I like that. I like that. Mango Tango money. Mango Tango money is the video back? I don't know. I know it's having some interneterly issues. And that's why I was saying, Christ, all the money these corporations took out of our taxpayer money to put in this infrastructure, we should be getting something back that's not spotty internet. So I'm not sure how we're doing. I'm going to wait till someone lets me know, because I don't want to dive into this. Rick Scott is back on. Thank you, Alma. Alma's here. Good to see you. All right. Let's get into the Rick Scott audio. If you haven't checked the news today, there's news because Senator Hawley, what's his first? Josh Hawley, the guy who did the fist to the J6ers, that douchebag, that absolute little slender man. He introduced a bill that would ban, I feel like I hear about a bill that would ban Congress and the Senate and presidents from trading stocks. I feel like I hear about this like 3 times a month, right? You're always hearing about it, never in action, because Nancy Pelosi needs to make that sweet, sweet money. What is Nancy Pelosi going to do with all that money? I can't stand her. I hate her. She's absolute garbage. But if you've ever seen her stock trades, it's like she's got that little, What was that machine in Big where he put the quarter in and got his fortune? It's like she's got one of those. Remember with Tom Hanks and he put his quarter in and the fortune came out and put a spell on him? It's like she has that machine from the movie Big, the fortune telling machine from the movie Big at her house. And every morning she wakes up and puts a quarter in. She's like, what stock should I trade? And it's like this one and you will make $1 billion. Like, what is Nancy Pelosi going to do with all that money? Cash out and stack it on top of each other and stand on it to like eat the moon? What is she going to do? Demonic, man. Repent. Repent, senators. Repent. By the way, Free Luigi. Austin Wayne says, I miss you, Rob. I miss us. Interesting. Zoltan. There you go. The Medicare embezzler. Oh, Keith Griffin. Keith knows the backstory to the story. Rick Scott's the worst thing to happen to Florida. And that's saying a lot. Thank you, D, for the chat, for stating that in the chat, because when you think about Florida, that is an American state that has saltwater crocodiles and alligators. Those are dinosaurs, essentially. And when you can say Rick Scott's the worst thing to happen to Florida, you would think an invasive species, pythons, that zombie meth person, Miami in general, Will Smith's song about Miami in general. But Rick Scott tops them all. His true name is Skeletor. D, we do not want to summon him, please. Listen, I love Florida. I really do. It's the Australia of America. Florida truly is just a unique place where you can not only see face-eating meth zombies, but also alligators and crocodiles. Beautiful, beautiful state. It's the uniqueness of America. Derek, another content creator trying to make money by just talking nonsense in politics. Derek, you can go be one of these content creators. YouTube is free. And you can go do your own live stream. Go ahead. You can leave at any point. I'm trying to wake people up because there's criminals in charge, and somehow they've formed a cult of people like you, Derek, who are like, let's just worship them. They can do no wrong. He's not in the files. Oh, he is? Then they don't exist. They're a hoax. Okay, Derek, I know what side you're on. Because the only people who get truly offended when I'm like, CEOs, if they are found guilty of fraud and committing crimes and they're the leader of the company, they should go to prison like everyone else. And somehow America, it's like, nope, they get to be senator and then complain when they can't trade stocks. Let's listen to the audio because I'm doing too much chat. But before we go, believe me, I'm a Republican and I can't stand up. D, that's great. I understand why you said I'm a Republican, but I'd like this to be a safe space for everyone where you leave the mantle of Republican or Democrat on your couch. Go put it down on your couch right now. Get up. Go put that mantle that you're carrying around, this heavy weight of Republican or Democrat. Take it the fuck off, because this ain't the Super Bowl. There ain't two teams. We are people, a unique people, and we should be fighting for each other, our neighborhoods, our communities. And who's your neighbor? What did Jesus tell us? Everyone. Go read the Good Samaritan parable, and you'll see everyone's your neighbor. Okay? It's very important we understand that. You spell should in your title wrong. Yes, thank you, Frylock TV. I love Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I did that on purpose to keep the title shorter. Another life hack. America's based of Christian belief. You definitely don't boast about Jesus. It's not really, but if you want to say the founders were Christians, like Thomas Jefferson's Jesus Bible, which I have over there. But the thing is a lot of people have perverted the ways of Christ, and I mean a lot. Look at Donald Trump selling a Bible. This guy selling you a Bible, made in China, by the way. And the thing is Jesus didn't charge for a copay. Jesus said anyone who makes a child stumble, they might as well put a heavy rock around their neck and walk into the ocean. Jesus wanted you to love your neighbor. In fact, Jesus said even the tax collectors love people who love them. What makes you different then? If you only love people who love you, you need to love your enemy. That was what was uniquely Christ. And somehow people think Donald Trump even knows who Christ is, Yeshua, as he used to be known. We'll call him by his government name, Jesus. And Jesus, you know, his message was lost because I've never seen a man talk so much shit and then hold a Bible after. I'm surprised his hands weren't burning. Okay. I think there's enough people in here. Now we're going to get to the story. Rick Scott. We're going to dive into the creepypasta and find out if he is IRL Slender Man. If he is ChatGPT's version of Make Slender Man IRL. I'm just kidding. Rick Scott is fighting for those poor senators. Let me show you how poor these senators are, guys. And by the way, if you're new here, I'm Rob. I do newsmentary. We joke about the news because the news is a joke. Hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, tap the screen, do a bunch of stuff, do an emote dance at your house just to get your blood pumping. I'll be like Tony Robbins because I do say I'm a vibe coach. I'm a vibe coach. Back in the early aughts, we had all these girls being Instagram, all these 20-something-year-old girls being Instagram life coaches. And I thought, you haven't even lived any life. You can't be a life coach. And this week I thought, I'd just be a vibe coach. That'll work out great. I'll start a LinkedIn, Vibe Coach LLC, and then I can commit crimes and get away with it. That's how America works. But we're going to talk about Rick Scott, this guy. Oh, and that's what I was saying. Everything I plan to talk about, like this video, the audio, if you want to follow along with Rick Scott's trades, link down in the description. We also have a Discord, and in the Discord, it's cool. We got book club, movie club, YouTube recommendations, a whole ton of stuff. Fortnite, if you play Fortnite. And Rick Scott, the man worth a measly $553 million, probably wouldn't even make it Forbes top 50 list. Pathetic. He is complaining that, you know, what are we, evil? We want to make money? What are we, evil? No, Rick, you're evil because you want to trade stocks while you're in public service. Jesus said you can't worship two masters. What's your job? Public service or trading stocks, Rick? Make a choice. Ooh, I love it. We got some maggots in the house saying, beta, soy boy. Call me Antifa next. I can do this before we get into the news. But you're defending a PDF file, the best friend of Jeff Epstein, a guy who wished Ghislaine Maxwell well, a guy who lied to you and called you stupid and weak. Donald Trump said his supporters are stupid and weak. And when we have sometimes, and this is another good thing, Coach, come back tomorrow, try again. Apparently you're, I would like to I'll give you enough credit to think you're not that fucking dumb. But Coach, come back tomorrow, hit subscribe, notification bell, because it looks like your keyboard's broken. Big kahuna. The righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry or feed you or thirsty and give you something to drink? 38. When did we see you a stranger and invite you or needing cloth? Where's the next kahuna? Wait a minute, kahuna. Who are you, my brother? But yes, that is the site in the Bible where Jesus said, anyone who you did that to is me. Because they were like confused. They were like, Jesus, when did we give you something to drink or give you our shirt when you were cold? And he's like, you did that when you did that to anyone. It's a great lesson for people who claim to worship that cross. I don't understand some of these comments. Guys, like Democrats, 23% approval. Simon, I'm not a Democrat. Stop. That's more insulting than soy boy. I love soy milk. Have you not had it? Like, guys, your 8th grade mentality of thinking you can bully someone by saying soy boy it's not only it's a poor reflection of who you are, you know. Like here's where, all right, I got to get the mug, and then we're gonna get to the Rick Scott audio. Remember, I told you I'm a vibe coach. So who is it? Turbo Munch, Sure Thing Bub, which you gotta love when they never have their avatar as anything besides the S. This is their troll account, and Simon Fleming with the anchor. This is a moment that I want to help you guys because this word popped up within the past couple of decades, incel, and the male loneliness epidemic, and that scares me because guys, life isn't that scary. And when you resort to just thinking like calling someone a soy boy and having really no content to your character, it's going to repel people from you. So I know, it's hard to hear it from a soy boy, somebody who has enjoyed soy milk quite often. In fact, what I call people if we just want to do the name calling thing, I call you fascist lactates. You love your lactose. So listen up, fascist lactates. Antifa is a good thing. You should all be anti-fascists. That means you're against fascism. My grandfather and probably many of yours fought in World War II against fascists. I don't know why they're trying to bring that back. As somebody said in the chat a couple days ago, said, "Make America Great Britain again." They want some kind of petty tyrant, some royalty. But guys, we're going to have a joking discussion. We're going to have a very funny discussion about IRL Slender Man complaining. You know how they go like soy boy, Antifa, and they complain a lot. We're going to hear some grade A bitch whining complaints from Rick Scott, who has this much money, who's saying, why am I evil if I want to make money trading stocks while I'm your senator? Okay? Long beard, don't you ever call me a life coach. Life coaches were in the early 2000s, the aughts. This week, I invented Vibe Coach. I'm a vibe coach now. Eat the rich. Thank you, Lunar. Aw. Antifa rocks. Jesus wants us to serve the poor. That's correct, Kahuna. Luna, I wore this shirt for you today. I thought we were soy boys. Pick an insult, you emotionally invested goofy. Yeah. Hey, you fascist lactates. We're soy boys. We're not proud boys. That name, we talked about this earlier. That name, it sounds like an a cappella group from like Pitch Perfect 4. Like, now welcome the Proud Boys. Right? Like the Proud Boys would be in. Who wrote Pitch Perfect? Whoever wrote it, right? Pitch Perfect 4 and put the name Proud Boys in there. That's hilarious. I'm so excited. Luigi's Mansion 2 is going to be multiplayer. Oh, Lunar, we covered it earlier this week. Did you see that Blackstone CEO down in the shooting in New York? The news, the corporate media steered that narrative to be targeting the NFL, but he just happened to go to the floor where one of the largest corporate landlord real estate holders were, Blackstone, and only take out that CEO. Wonder why the news steered it that way. Interesting. Oh, you know. Luna, hit subscribe and notification bell. I like you. Trump wants us to serve the poor with a side of fries. Oh, I keep up on that. Amazing. All right, Vibe Coach duties are over. I gave my advice to the fascist lactates when they called me soy boy. You fascist lactates, just develop some personality. Hit subscribe and notification bell. Keep coming back. I'll help you. I don't have a problem. Thank you, Cree. I don't know how to pronounce it. My apologies for subbing. Qatari jet named Emoluments 1. I wish I didn't just have the power to silence people, but I wish I had the power to fucking highlight. Because James, I want to like make a note of that. That is, James just said the Qatari jet that Donald Trump got. I think I even have, oh my God, am I this prepared today? Holy shit. Look at that. I can't believe that. James, you just made my morning. And who else? Lunar and James. I want to take a minute to thank you guys. But if you read this, Democratic Senator Chris Murphy offered an amendment to prohibit Trump from taking the Qatari jet that was gifted to him when he leaves office. It failed. Every single Republican voted to allow Trump to take the jet after he uses $1 billion of our money to renovate it, our tax dollars. They're letting Trump use our tax dollars like his personal piggy bank. Again, found in Reddit. But it was cool because James just said he named the Qatari jet Emoluments 1. Hello, base department. Found another employee. I work for no man. Vibo coach, Vibo not good. Long beard. Do you really have a long beard? Prove it. Put a short on your thing. About time that worked. James has been holding that gem for a while. Crack home run. That's wild. What's the bill called? I love checking roll calls. Not sure. Long beard. You should. This is the other reason why I'm a vibe coach, because I think you should have a YouTube channel. Take that L, the purple L, off your avatar. Just get a nice photo of your beard, and you should do daily beards. Just was trying to catch up her. Don't get it. Other countries treat him like a king, and you have a problem. Why? Casey Jones. Other countries treat who like a king? Subscribe. Will do. Appreciate it. I love seeing more creators. You know, I think we are in a unique time where everybody's got a voice, and I think it's cool. But not Nazis. Fuck them. Delete your channel, Nazis. But people who do stuff like that, long beard, I love unique niches. You're right, he's not a king. I don't understand who treats him like a king. I have a whole beard without a W. Interesting. I don't. I can't grow it. I'm very Irish, so people used to think I dyed my beard, and it just comes in red and blonde. And I'd be like, how do you even dye a beard? Got a subscriber, OX45. Solidarity, fist bump it. Appreciate you. Emily Love, cool name. Only axis of evil's countries give Donnie the nod. That's true. Who's done worse, the Irish Church or Scientology? The Irish Church? Are you talking about the Catholics and the Protestants? That's okay. Okay. God bless you, brother. It was good chatting with you. D, are you out of here? Appreciate you. We're just about, I got to play this audio because now it's been 45 minutes. I haven't even gotten into the news story. Again, my apologies. I was talking about, let me get the picture up of Rick Scott. I think that one's Slender Man. Sorry, I always get confused. I can't tell these two apart. Can you tell them apart? Rick Scott is making news today. Let's listen to some of the audio. This is from Forbes breaking news. Shock moment. Rick Scott and Josh Hawley battle over bill to ban stock trading by members of Congress. And I want you to hear, we're going to listen and break down Rick Scott. I shouldn't even show this picture of him. Let me get the other photo of him. I hope I don't get confused. Damn it. I think that one's Slender Man. I can't tell the difference. Can you? There we go. I think that's him. I don't think Slender Man would have a stock trading portfolio. This man, worth this much, convicted of the largest Medicare fraud, one of those, in American history while he was CEO and found of doing illegal activities, who's not in prison, but he's now a senator. You love how that works. And we're going to talk about why CEOs don't go to prison here in America, and how they should. And there's another article for that. You didn't change the picture. I still see Slender Man. I knew it. God damn. It's so hard to tell. I just figured the stock photo couldn't be Slender Man unless Slender Man's trading. At this point, I wouldn't put it beyond Florida to just elect Slender Man. You know, they're like, we're tired of Rick Scott. We want some Slender Man values in this state. So we're going to nightmare fuel the Rick Scott one. The other one, the Slender Man one, I could go to sleep with that tattooed on the inside of my eyelids. I'd be fine. This shit, I wouldn't sleep a wink. I would die of, what's insomnia? I was going to say not sleepnia. They always look so scary. What is the name? Goddess Intellect. Is that Goddess Intellect? I like that name. And how did you do those letters? I always see those, and I never, ever, ever understand how people do that in their names. I could probably Google it. Sorry. But PDF files, yes. Delete yours if you are one of those. Oh, sorry. I already read that. Okay, let's get to the audio. Everybody ready? Everybody buckled up? You got your morning vibes tea? I am Rob, your vibe coach. I do newsmentary every weekday here on YouTube. I think this weekend, because the news has been so crazy, we might hit it again. So please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Longbeard, last question before we listen to this audio. What do you think would change if we, the people, just stopped going to work for a week? We could all take time to clean this place up. Oh, God. Longbeard, you... I like to try to be a man of my word. Okay, that's why I say I go live 5 days a week, and I've been doing that for over a year. Um, you can't ask a question like that and not derail me. I have ADD, ADHD, ADLMNOP, AYXYZ. I have all of them, and that I think is one of the most important things. A nationwide strike, as you saw the French did a few years ago, which we talked to Darlene, a sub and a co-host. I have people on occasionally from around the world to discuss this kind of stuff, and that kind of solidarity. I think we could really get some work done. But Longbeard, I appreciate you. The other thing that I like to say is that, and I'm just going to preface this before we get into the Republican Rick Scott audio. When people call me a Democrat or a liberal, it's sickening to me because I've never even been registered as one. When I first registered to vote, it was Green Party. I don't even know what I am now because it's all a joke, right? And I tell people this, I try to get the message through like this. I say, right now we have all red, right? It's all Republicans, everything. What do you see? Medicaid cuts, Meals on Wheels cuts, scientists gone. It's the worst of the worst, okay? They're getting rid of NPR and PBS. They're saying it's propaganda. It's Sesame Street. It's Mr. Rogers. It's Bob Ross. It's Reading Rainbow. It's amazing, amazing publicly funded stuff. Meanwhile, there's no ease up on the bombs they're creating or the ICE funding, right? And they always like to talk about the budget, but they raised it $5 trillion, and they're giving the wealthiest tax cuts. And while they brag about no tax on tips, that expires in 2028. If they really cared about workers, they would just raise the federal minimum wage, stroke of a pen, presidential post-it note, executive memo, whatever they call it. But what I like to show people or try to tell people is I think about it like this. Right now it's all red and it's a shit show. But if we voted all blue, if you got everybody in there blue, does anybody, answer in the chat, think we would get universal health care? Honestly, I know my answer, and that's no, because they don't serve the people. That we the people is very exclusive to the corporations who fund them, and that's it. And the insurance CEOs and their profits and the next election cycle. So even if we fund, or even if we, the people, voted for all blue, they're not giving us paid time off, family leave. They're not giving us universal basic health care, which the rest of the fucking world has. It's figured out. They're going to keep using our taxes to fund the BlackRocks, the Blackstones, the weapon industry themselves. They'll give themselves raises, but they won't raise the federal minimum wage. So I just want you to remember that. Please stop thinking that this is team sports, Republicans, Democrats, whatever the fuck they're called. Who gives a shit? Stop trying to own someone. God. Just realize, like, your community's going to suffer when people like this. Do you think Floridians, and I love some of you, I got family down there. Do you think in Florida, a guy worth $500 million knows what you're going through? Can he relate to you? He's supposed, you elected him to represent your needs. He doesn't have the same needs you have. And we're going to hear about this right now. James, Frontline Democracy Now!, Nova, PBS, Nightly News is what makes it propaganda. Those are amazing shows. Have you ever watched any of them? They're meticulous with their accuracy. Like, Jesus Christ. And by the way, you can't disregard the other shows like Sesame Street, which I think Republicans haven't had an issue with. Guys, stop thinking this is a culture war. It's a class war. We need to tax wealth, not work. Say it with me now. Tax wealth, not work. Amazing. Now tell a friend. I didn't elect him ever. And buying space, you're one of the casualties in this class war. Electoral politics is to help the establishment class. Yes. PBS isn't propaganda. FFS. It's called factual. What is FFS? Never mind. Good pun name, by the way. Satan's little helper. That's off of The Simpsons. Santa's little helper. Uh, Republicans would have canceled Mr. Rogers. Emily Love, listen. Okay, Commie, thank you. The Wolf, appreciate you. Don't call me a liberal. Call me a communist. That's fine. Call me a Marxist. That's okay. These words don't scare me. Remember, you Republicans are supposed to be like the birthers of that. You're supposed to birth that out of your womb. How tough you are by not being affected by words. But then everything's propaganda. We need to ban it all. It's a weird conundrum you guys have fucking painted yourself into. Who are fascists? Petty tyrants, the Nazis, the people who want an authoritarian, people who would say, have you ever heard a campaigning or elected official say, it's only I alone can fix the problem? I think there was a guy named Donald who might have said something like that. Like, I alone. That is what you would call like a monarch, like authoritarian. I don't know. There's a lot of words for it. Fascism. Crimson Diamond. Do you just stroll around YouTube asking people that? Because I gotta wonder about the people, and I'm assuming you're a guy, and that makes an ass out of you and me. But Crimson Diamond, I'm not gonna read your comment, but I'd like to take a moment, because sometimes these people come in and say shit like that. Thank you, Alma. Where they say something nasty like that, and I go, is that what's on your mind? We're talking about this wealthy $500 million representing people in Florida, which aren't all $500 million, and he comes in and asks about that. Like, where's your mind floating? I need to ask you this. Like, where? And then go reflect. Take some time out of your day to be like, why am I always thinking about people getting in the... Like, why? Why? That, you understand, that says more about you than it does about me. I need people to understand, when you come into my chat and you start rattling, the first thing I see with your Crimson Diamond name, right, is something asking a very taboo sexual, I don't know how to say it, but the first thing I see Crimson Diamond at this early in the Lord's morning is that from you. I go, that person is fucking creepy. Like, if you said that to me at work or on the street, we would be having a different conversation. It's very weird. So I just want people to remember, when I first meet you for the first time, and it's based on what you said, I conjure some imagery of like, something might be wrong with this person if they're waking up in the morning or they're at work. God forbid you're not at work typing stuff like that. When idiots can't answer a comment, they question the person asking, not was asked. X-Gen, that was a sexual question, which it had nothing political, nothing to do with what we were talking about. And it was, I'm assuming, to be a troll. I've been doing this long enough. But I like to point these trolls out, that when you just come in saying this like Epsteinian commentary, I think something's fucking wrong with your head. And my mom would say, what are you, thick in the skull? Okay, so now we're finally, Kamikaze McMaster, I love you, babe. So are you Boston Rob from Survivor? Sorry, I just got here and heard the name, but don't watch TV. No, I'm not. Hey, get your money and move it elsewhere. I don't know what that means, but... Okay. Fascism is not policies you don't like. No, fascism is ruling by what one person says, disregarding of the entirety of a country. Fascism is you're not being able to critique or dissent or have any protected speech against someone without people trying to make that illegal. Have you noticed that MAGA can't criticize Trump? That would be an indicator of fascism. But fascists always see it as okay. And that's how we'll end it. Toes Beast Gaming, appreciate you. All right, let's please get to this Rick Scott audio. Remember, the bill introduced by another Republican, Josh Hawley. Hawley. That's got to be a Southern name. Hawley! That's how they used to call the fucking sheep. They were like, we'll call them the Hawleys. But Josh, a Republican, you know he ain't got money in the game, because if he's willing to be like, we should just ban politicians from trading stocks, like, who has a problem with that? Does anybody have a problem with politicians trading stocks? Answer me in the chat. And I'll just say this for all the Republicans. Nancy Pelosi, scumbag, making so much money off of her public service. Like, just look at her stock. I wish, I could have her insights, because that bitch making too much money while she's in office. So does anybody think we should allow Congress to, or I forgot how I asked it before, but you know what I'm saying. Merging of corporate and state is a definition of fascism. Public-private partnerships equals fascism. Well, corporate and state is already together. Did you not see Trump's inauguration? It was like a who's who of corporate. Zuckerberg, Microsoft, Elon, Bezos, like state. Unfortunately, state and corporate merged long ago. Hawley sold his investment when he got elected. He ran on this parley. Interesting. I did not know that. Thank you for that, Raj Mike. Unless it's Rod Jemick. The Pelosi bill closes loopholes. These rules are already in place for the rest of the government. Well, this is from yesterday. Is today the 1st? Is today August 1st? Anybody know? Time is, a flat circle. Who gives a fuck? But I think it's August 1st. Happy August 1st if you celebrate. This could be someone's new year. I always say January 1st being a new year is so arbitrary. Who gives a shit? I have a short video where I say, you know what a new year is? Somebody getting sober for the first time. Somebody having a baby. Somebody going on vacation. Well, that's a new week. But those are really New Year moments. This whole, I'm so woke, I don't even subscribe to the corporate New Year ideology. Martha Stewart and her cupcakes went to prison for inside information. Then anyone else doing that should go to prison without cupcakes. No cupcakes for you. Why are you trying to ruin the game for people with the cheat code? Good comment, B2 to the K. All right, let's listen to this. This is Rick Scott. It's good. Good morning. I'm back. Michael Zirkle, you are back. I remember you because I said, are you related to Steve Urkel? Mr. Zirkle. All right, folks. Well, Michael, let me recap. I'm your vibe coach, Rob. I do newsmentary 5 days a week here on the YouTube. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're about to play audio that was released yesterday. And again, link down in the description. Link down. We'll get into it, what's wrong with it. If you're serious, it's okay. We'll get into it. We'll debate the opinions. That's what we do here. We're just debating opinions, everybody. We're joking so hard, it sounds serious. I bet that hat stanks. Stanks isn't good. Are you young kids calling stanks? Is that like fresh now? Is stanks fresh and fresh is stanks? Rusty Shackelford. With your Dale Gribble avatar. I subbed. Thank you. Wow, really? That's how I should have answered. I subbed. Wow, really? Great name. Holy shit. My opine. Orange chicken is guilty. That orange taco, that's a shit taco if I've ever seen one. Satire is a good thing. That should be a song title. So hit subscribe, hit notification bell. We're going to listen to Rick Scott, the audio yesterday. Link down below if you just like to punish your ears on your own time. Link down below to this video. It's a shock moment. Rick Scott and Jess Harley battle over bill to ban stock trading by members of Congress. Let's listen to Rick. Okay.
So let's think about where we are. I think everybody on this committee, nobody wants people to do trading.
Did you hear what the fuck he just said right out of the gate? Did you hear that? This is what I mean, where politicians are so slimy. They say both things. He just said, did everybody hear that? Please let me know if you hear that. Screaming bees. Rick Scott is fighting against the bill to ban Congress from trading stocks. Keep up the good work, brother. El Rodro Preros Vegasos. Oh, I wish I could say your name. My grandmother, who was born in Spain, would be very angry with me right now, but thank you. No replay, please, Marilyn Mountain. Okay, so everybody heard that. Rick Scott just said, I won't replay it. He just said, I think everybody here doesn't want Congress to trade, loosely translated. He just started by saying, we all agree that we should ban stock trading by Congress. That's how he starts this. I need people to pay attention because for too long, people have just allowed people to say shit like that and then be like, so why are you going to defend? If we all agree, that's it. That's your comment. And case closed. Good. But no, he goes on for 5 more minutes. I won't play all of them. I'm not going to punish everybody having to listen to Epstein files. That's right. Donald is in them.
I think we all would agree with that.
He says, I think we all would agree with that. Really?
Yeah. Nobody would like people to do trading.
What? What are you about to say next?
We've watched Nancy Pelosi. Seems like she's figured out how to make a fortune off of trading.
Oh, so it's okay to say we don't want them trading because Nancy Pelosi. Just want you to see Rick Scott, his trade portfolio, which you can see linked down below. Okay? Rick Scott opens his rebuttal to the ban on Congress trading stocks by saying, I think we can all agree, nobody wants Congress to trade stocks. I mean, Nancy Pelosi's got like a magical fucking thing. What government is she in, guys? He thinks you're stupid. Rick Scott thinks you're dumb. I wish I was here. I'd be like, okay, case closed. Wrap it up.
We'd all like to make as much money as she made in trading. I don't know.
Rick, you have $500 million. You're not the guy to say this.
Anybody in the country that's done that well.
He doesn't know anybody in the country that's done that well. Well, I know somebody who hasn't done too bad. I tell you that, Rick. Oh, Ricky. Her husband's the investment banker. It's her husband's money. Then why haven't any of the bills to ban Congress and their families passed? Oh, Jesus. Stop defending Nancy Pelosi. Stop. Adrian Munch. Nip it.
So, but if you look at this, if you have a small business, you come up here, all right? It's illiquid.
Okay, I'm going to skip over this part because he just basically goes into, if you have a small business, it's illiquid. He likes to brag that he has a background in business. Illiquid means there's no buyer. I'm not kidding. This is the boring shit.
There's no buyer. What are you going to do? So you're telling people, let me finish.
Let me finish.
Okay, there's no buyer.
We know.
It's illiquid, there's no buyer.
Okay, you've
That's
defined
why
it.
it's called illiquid.
Okay,
right?
You're so smart. Businessman.
You made a reference to billionaires.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know when in this country it became a negative to make money.
Okay, we're going to address the first thing Rick Scott said. It's not a bad thing. It's not evil to make money. What's evil is while Jeff Bezos is sending Katy Perry to space orbit, his employees are timed and have to pee in bottles because they don't get breaks. Because they cannot work that one job, buy a house, go to school, have many vacations a year. They have to earn their sick time. That is the issue. That America, and before anyone starts chirping off, this is a new America. This whole shit of like working 3 jobs, grind culture, all this stuff that corporations and these asshole influencers want you to believe that the reason they're on a private jet and you're not is because they worked hard and you didn't, is bullshit. Workers are exploited. That's why Donald Trump put a union buster to head the NLRB. That's why Donald Trump is stripping workers of their rights. That's why they have not bumped the federal minimum wage in almost 20 years, since 2009. I'm not an economist, so I don't know how many years that is. But that's why, because we are severely exploited. Just from in the year of our Lord 2025, since the year of our Lord 2020, In those 5 years, your dollar is worth a quarter less. So if you haven't got over a quarter raise in those 5 years, you've got a pay decrease. This is all shit you can go look up. I don't want to argue about it. I've testified in state houses to this against corporate lobbyists. This is the reality. This is why in last election, fucking people asked that orange turd taco, Donald, Epstein's best friend, all over the files, wonderful secret keeping enigma, videos of him everywhere, had a party where they just invited a bunch of girls. It was just him and Jeff Epstein. He wished Ghislaine Maxwell well. We cannot forget this stuff. Never forget. Pledge your allegiance to remembering that. That is why that all of this shit now, okay? Remember, that's why right now America is what it is. Why last election, people were like, can you make egg price go low? And he was like, day one, bitches, I got it. And that didn't happen. And don't debate egg prices. Again, this is to make a bigger point. That back when I was growing up, we had these ditties. We had P. Diddy getting on the TV saying, vote or die on MTV. And then they played a music video. And nowadays, people are like, can you make egg cost less? Like, we're fucked, America. I don't care what political party you are. That's horrible. That egg prices came into play in an election. You would think it would be like, I'm like, when I seen that shit, all I could think was like, God damn, we're never getting our tax money to pay for healthcare. People are going to keep dying in medical debt. This is horrendous. Because if you got the public to focus on egg prices, those wealthy people, like this guy, who doesn't give a shit, he's the Arrested Development meme. He's like, Michael, what could it cost? $20 an egg? Like, he has no clue. No clue. You don't see him at Publix in Florida. They are laughing at all of us. Well, they're like, God damn, these people are worried about egg prices. Like, bitch, we're going to run train on them. It's going to look like a Epstein Diddy party on these constituents. You understand that. This is not about party lines. This is not a culture war. This is a class war. Okay? Oh, it's exhausting. I just want people to wake up and understand. Canjo. I'm assuming it's pronounced like banjo. Thank you for saying these things. My grandmother lost her house because the hospital put my grandpa's medical bills on her. Thank you for sharing that. I know it's hard for people to share this stuff because somehow American culture has made anybody who suffers or becomes vulnerable or is preyed upon by these banks and CEOs and insurance companies and anybody who's done that, American culture has somehow in the past 25 years made it that person's fault. And they don't like to look at the structural system that these wealthy people, your senators, have made. I mean, Rick Scott can pull off the biggest Medicare fraud in history and then become a senator. I mean, fraud. This is a dude who like, this is not fucking up for debate. Wait, oh, here is the government record of the largest Medicare fraud in history. And he was the CEO. And this dude goes on to be a senator to whine and complain about he doesn't want stocks to be banned for him. Trading stocks to be banned for him. Meanwhile, grandmothers are losing their homes. And somehow the country's got you thinking it's about fucking red and blue. It's insane. Okay? So it is not. Stop cursing words like goddamn. You didn't spell goddamn all the way, Roof King, while you wear that hat that says repent. Roof King. If you think saying goddamn is worse than what these politicians are doing to kids, families, and old people, you really need to go reread the Bible and what Jesus says about treating people, okay? I understand what he says about your tongue can be a weapon, but you really should look into the actions or what makes you someone of Christ. That means you start to walk in his image, that you act like he does. So that's what I'm fighting for. My apologies for saying goddamn, but like, Jesus forgive me. Ain't that the whole fucking thing? So when Rick Scott starts to play on the, when did it become evil to make so much money? You got to see through that. You got to go, it's not. In fact, nobody's complaining about, well, no. We should tax, billionaires should not exist. Once you have over $999,999,999, you should be taxed at 100%. That's just fucking logical. We see how irresponsible these billionaires are with their money. Bad investments, oppressive regimes. But outside of that, like, go ahead. I want to dispel this myth. Earn all the money you can. Don't do it by exploiting people or fraud or taking your public servants. You can't worship two masters. If you're a public servant, which Rick Scott is, then why would you give a shit? If your worries are about the people, why would you care about trading stocks? You shouldn't. You should be focused on your public service. So, okay, so tax them 100%. Yes. So when Rick Scott says stuff like this, he's really playing at the heartstrings of, I think, the boomers, where they're like, yeah, back in my day, you could just make $1 million. And it's like, yeah, but you could also afford a home, go to college, have health care. There was no credit scores. Those were invented in 89. Stock buybacks were illegal until Reagan implemented them in, I think, 82. It's like, yeah, the world was much different. And now you see people like Jeff Bezos renting out Venice while his employees don't even get a break and pee in bottles. Like, that's what we're complaining about. Get it fucking right. God damn. I don't understand how this dude, well, I do. He's Slender Man. He probably scared people into the job. Politics is the new Hollywood. Wow, really? Here's the other, I'm going to take a minute. To address this. Wow, really? Because you made my ADH elemental P brain go onto that. And First Amendment USA, I got to talk about your thing too, because we talk about this a lot. In fact, I got a link in the description about CEO pay. One of the big unions in America is tracking CEO pay, and you should know. But when they say politics is the new Hollywood, what I want people to understand, because not only do we joke and satire and Slender Man on this channel, creepypasta the hell out of the news, but sometimes the commentary rolls into this. And I want you to understand, when people tell you to don't talk pay, don't talk your salary, number one, look it up. It's a federally protected law if you and your coworkers want to talk pay. Your bosses and older people will tell you not to do it. Why? Because if you just got hired and you're making as much as the person who's been there for 10 years, that person's going to be pissed. They're like, I put in blood, sweat, and tears. And it used to not be like this. People used to actually treat employees a little bit better, but a lot of people have died for those rights. And then people will tell you don't talk politics. But I want to dispel that bullshit, okay? And by the way, my hat is repent is for people like Rick Scott, who have done massive harm to communities, in my opinion. Politics is everything. When somebody tells you don't talk politics, what they're saying is keep your opinion to yourself, stay quiet, because I want to impose my will on you. That's what we see right now, okay? So when they tell you don't talk politics, remember, when you have a break at work, if you get a break at work, that's politics. That was legislated. How fast you drive to work, that's politics. That was legislated. Whether there's a crosswalk for your kids to get to the school bus, that's politics. All of this is politics. It's all made up. This is all make-believe. This is like men were like, mostly men. God bless the women that have fought their way into it. But humankind in general has just been like, we're just going to do this. This is the law now. Like, we can undo all this shit. We can have a 3-day work week. There's no reason we shouldn't. In fact, the robber barons of the last century thought by now we'd be working 3 days a week because of the technology. Now I want to talk about First Amendment USA. 1970s, his comment, her comment, their comment, our comment, really. 1970s, CEOs earned 20 to 30 times the salary of an average worker. By 2025, this ratio has ballooned to 200 to 300 times. This increase in CEO to worker pay gap reflects the shift in income inequality in the USA. That is such a well-said comment, and I try to harp on that frequently on this channel. And I even believe, link down below, I just keep it linked down below, the AFL-CIO website where they track CEO to worker pay, because at my work, my CEO makes 6,666 times what the average worker makes. What he makes in 1 hour would take the average worker 4 years to make what he makes in an hour. And this guy is not a long hire. He just got the job 4 months ago. Okay? So remember that it's a big club, like George Carlin said, and you ain't in it. And it doesn't matter with people like Rick Scott. He was making a lot of money as a CEO, and it didn't matter he committed crimes. It didn't matter his company at his helm committed the largest Medicare fraud in American history. It just didn't matter. Now he's politician. Normal people would be, I don't know, in prison. So you work at BlackRock? No. Always talk pay. It's a way to lowball you to hide this. More greedflation. Yeah, First Amendment. Please hit subscribe and the notification bell. We need more people who are aware of this. That's why they call people woke, folks, just so you know. Because you're not asleep. That's the difference. When people call you woke, go, what are you, fucking asleep? You not paying attention? Of course. It's a big club. You're not in it. Black Cove, I said the same thing. I said, no, and it's not 666,000. It's 6,666. 6,666. And I said, what an interesting number. We've been fighting for a union. I'm an organizer as well. We should do, oh, sorry. I dropped my toothpick on the floor and then I picked it up. Gross. Don't worry. There's this thing that came out of the 90s. It's called the 5-second rule. Scientifically, there's debate still about it. But in this household, I subscribe to it. Okay. So, from 33 to 75, Americans couldn't own gold due to government stabilizing the economy. As the Great Depression and World War II, full private ownership was restored after the U.S. abandoned the gold standard. Also, if you look at 1933, when FDR, let's take this moment to celebrate our history, when Franklin Delano Roosevelt implemented Social Security, the minimum wage. I have a video on my channel, a short. I implore you to watch it. It's FDR himself talking about the minimum wage. And he specifically states that the minimum wage was not meant to be a bare subsistence level of living. That meant it wasn't supposed to be poverty wages like it is today. The minimum wage was meant to be a decent living, to get a good education, to have good health, and go on recreation, as he called it, as they did in the 30s. So anyone who tells you minimum wages for burger flippers is bullshit. That is the corporate propaganda that has seeped into your brain and made your brain toxic. So just, know your history, I guess. Let's get back to Slender Man. I mean, Rick Scott and his debate on why Congress should be able to trade stocks.
But somehow, if you've made money, you're supposedly, I think Senator Hawley suggests, you shouldn't be serving.
So he says, if you've made money trading stocks, you shouldn't be in public service, which, no duh. I don't know how you answer that. Like, yeah, exactly. Thank you. I think you agree. You just previously said that Nancy Pelosi's made a ton of money. She's figured out a secret to trading, and it might not be a secret. It might be she has inside information because she governs these industries. It's really weird when you listen and break down a politician speak because you're like, what the fuck? Are you both sidesing this? Or we're like, what is your point?
Because you might trade stocks. Now, I came up here, I made money.
He made a lot of money. $553.73 million of monies.
I started out, never knowing my dad, living in public housing.
All right. Are you guys ready for the story? He's going to tell you his story. He never knew his dad. Public housing. All these things that I think in his mind legitimizes him to the workers. I'm one of you guys. Didn't know my dad. I had public housing. I am one of you. But really, all it shows is the deep, deep infestation of rot inside his heart cockles. I don't know what the medical terminology of your heart is, but I'm assuming inside the cockles of Rick Scott's heart, it's been infested with this rot. Because if you lived in public housing, didn't know your dad, and know the suffering of poverty, why the fuck wouldn't you want to help people in that position? It makes you the worst kind of person to know the suffering of that and be like, yeah, fuck them.
I lived the dream that many of us want to live. Not.
Oh, bitch. you've exceeded my dream. I'd be okay with 500 million. 553, that's where I go. That's a bit excessive. Like greedy.
Be broke.
You hear him? He says, I don't want to be broke. Meanwhile, he'll do everything in his power to legislate fucking any kind of legislate out of existence any kind of assistance from the government. Government's not here to help you. What is the government here for then? What is the post office? What is the fire department? What are fucking state hospitals? What are the VA? What is it? What is the military supposed to do? Aren't they supposed to help us to defend the freedoms?
I went to junior college, joined the
Oh, bitch went to junior college. Did you not know?
Navy.
And the Navy. You can see Slender Man.
Go to some elite university.
Oh, see, he's not in... Guys. He just said he didn't go to an elite university. What do you think, he's an elite? Do you think a guy worth $553 million is an elite? He didn't go to an elite university. He didn't go to like Harvard, okay? Where like Ron DeSantis, basically everyone surrounded by Trump went to Harvard. Look it up. They all like graduated from a Harvard Business School, a postgraduate Harvard school. They're all Harvard alum. Not Rick Scott. He's just an average $553 million citizen of Florida like you.
I went to the cheapest place I could find.
You hear that? He's basically, we got Jeff Foxworthy over here. He's just a redneck.
And I went and built businesses. But
he says he went and built businesses, but what did those businesses do, Rick? After you built the businesses, Rick, what did they do? Let's see. Well, in the late 90s, while Rick Scott was CEO of Columbia HCA, a healthcare company, the company was investigated for fraudulent billing practices. This investigation revealed widespread fraudulent billing of Medicare, Medicaid, and other federal health programs. Then they paid a record $1.7 billion to settle the charges, and he didn't have to go to jail or prison or face any kind of accountability as CEO of that company that was the largest healthcare fraud in America. And now we see old Slender Scott sitting representing the people of Florida saying, just let us trade the stocks, you dickheads.
But somehow now, if you've made money, somehow it's negative up here.
Oh, yeah. Somehow, if you've made a measly $553 million, and by the way, traded his last stock on January 4th in the year of our Lord 2025, somehow, like, it's like a bad thing. What, do you not like money? Oh, I guess you don't like having water to drink. Assholes. He's just a Florida man. Sorry, I'm not reading the comments. Let's take a look at a couple. June. RS, king of doublespeak. Lots of words, no substance. Honestly, Congress, all three branches, and post office should all be in Social Security if it's good enough. If it's good enough for us, it should be good enough for them. First Amendment. God damn. I like you. Oh, Justin, I like you too because you say stuff like this. Envy is crazy. You know, it shows a lot about your perspective on things, that you think what I'm saying is envy. I don't live in Florida. I don't want 553 million. I just want these crooked, convicted CEOs to have some kind of accountability to their public, which they're allegedly supposed to serve. And I'll not stop speaking out. So you can walk around going, oh, everybody's just jealous of Rick Scott. He's just an amazing man. You're just jealous. Is Josh Hawley jealous? Your other Republican friend who introduced the bill that Rick Scott apparently agreed on because Nancy Pelosi traded the stocks. But now he's going to start doing a massive backpedal. A backpedaling that Michael Phelps would be like, how are you pedaling that fast? How are you fucking backstroking that fast? Because now he's going to get into what is trading stocks and making shit tons of money bad.
I did what Senator Johnson did.
Yeah, co-conspirator.
When I became governor of Florida, I sold my operating business.
Oh, he's going to go into how he put everything in a blind trust. He did it the proper way.
Right? I did a blind trust while I was governor.
Here's my issue with him saying this. If you're going to brag that, like, hey, when I became governor, I put everything in blind trust, I didn't do it, then why do you have a problem with the bill? Like, what? That makes no sense. Do you understand? He's saying, like, hey, I got rid of all my companies. Like, you know what? Like, that literally has nothing to do with it. We're not saying anything about you putting your companies into a blind trust or not being in control of your companies. That's not trading stocks. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't fucking get that, or maybe again, this is a bunch of nothingness he's saying. Because if you did all the things that you were supposed to that don't involve trading stocks, then you would be okay with not trading stocks. Is everybody following along? Mel, good to see you, Mel. Take your hat off, Hunk. No, you take your hat off. Congress should get paid $500K, in my opinion. They would have much incentive to take bribes. They need to be banned from any other income. They're public servants and should act like it. Listen, if you pay them more and think that's gonna, like, listen, let's just take a second. I understand your sentiment, but cool, if that's how you pronounce it. I need you to understand something. If you think just giving them a raise to $500K is going to make them not take bribes, I need you to understand. There's no money that's enough for them. He has $553 million. You'd think he'd be... That's why when Joe Rogan said, like, Elon has $1 billion, he doesn't want your money. It's like, do you not know what greed is? Greed isn't about being satiated and saying, like, all right, I hit the $500 million mark, I'm good. Like, they can never get enough. That's why it's important that we call out this BS. I get that he's bad, but there's plenty more people to discuss. Well, Joshua Kelly, if you're new here, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I am Rob. I am your vibe coach. I just created that this week. Patent pending, copyright LLC, all that yada, 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 capitalism. But what we need to focus on right now is, I joke about the news because the news is a joke. This is a news commentary channel, newsmentary as I call it, and this was in the news. If you want, because I mean, the other huge news story is Donald was Epstein's best friend, absolute best friend. I mean, have you ever written a friend a poem in a birthday card? If so, I'm guessing they were pretty close friends, right? And we could talk about that later, but we got to talk about Slender Man. I mean, Rick Scott. Let me see if I can find, is this the Rick Scott photo? They all look the same to me. I can't figure out, where is Rick Scott? Where is he? He's somewhere. There we go. Yeah, we're on stocks, Joshua. Birthday card equals best friends. To be fair, Trump is like 80. I know. Lil Zay. I can't look at my mouth. Watch my mouth about what? Can you see your own mouth? I guess I could see it in the camera. What is that? Some kind of like pat your head and rub your tummy? Where you're like, can you pat your head and rub your tummy? Watch your mouth. I can't watch my mouth. Is that what the kids are doing? Is that the new Tide Pod challenge? My Christ. Clinton wins high score to the island. Yeah, Brad. Yep. Release it all. Release it all. I just wonder, how did Donald know that it was exactly 28 times? Did he see him there? How do you know? Minnesota Peg. I write sarcastic poems. My friends love them. That's cool. You should share it online.
I never saw it was in the blind trust.
We're listening to Rick Scott in opposition. I know if you were here the whole time, it doesn't sound like he's in opposition to the bill to ban politicians from trading stocks, because he opened saying, I think we all agree we shouldn't be trading. And then he says, Nancy Pelosi, all the key trigger words, right? So you'd think if he just ended it there, it wouldn't have been in opposition. But now we're going into the long double-speak politician talk of like, don't do it because Daddy need more money.
Never traded one thing that was in a blind trust. Somebody else did it. Now in this job, I don't trade stocks. I don't own operating businesses.
Now, Rick just said he don't trade stocks. Is this website wrong? Does anybody know? Is it? Because Rick Scott just said in Congress or in something that he doesn't trade stocks. And maybe, what's the website? I have the website linked below if you want to see it yourself. It's Quiver Quantitative. Quiver Quantitative has this on Rick Scott. And he just said yesterday, yesterday, July 30th, are there 31 days in July? I don't know. I don't care. It's all irrelevant. We made it all up. But on July 30th, in the year of our Lord 2025, Rick Scott said, I don't trade stocks. Did he mean that day? Did he mean that day? Because I can't understand how he could say that, and then you can easily... Maybe he doesn't know we have the internet. Is Rick Scott trying to legislate people from using the internet? Maybe Rick Scott's like, nobody gets access to the internet. You cannot look up stuff. Groveland tablet 8. I thought that was Groveland table for 8. South Park has it right. Yes, they do. He might have someone trading for him. I do. Yes, and I would assume they all do. But again, if we're just going on the sentiment of exactly what you just said, he might have someone trading for him. So again, someone's trading for him. Unless he's literally talking about, I personally don't, which is the most slimy thing to say. You know what I mean? Like if you're like, I personally don't trade stocks. And then you're like, oh, but I have a team of people who are trading around the clock. I'm making billions. You know what I mean? Like that is the lying by omission kind of thing. So I have some stocks for them. The public humiliation variety, though. Sculpted marble. Like a pun sculpted from the marble of your YouTube handle. That was brittle. Brilliant. Why did I say brittle? Let's listen to Rick Scott, how he doesn't trade stocks, okay? Rick does not trade stocks.
But somehow it's suspect because I made money.
Yep.
I don't know how many people in the audience, how many of you don't want to make money?
Oh my God. So right now he's raising his hand. He's going, how many people in the audience don't want to make money? You understand what's going on right here. This is the propaganda, folks. It's like, well, no shit. Everybody has to make money. That's how you have to live. Somehow America has tricked people into thinking like if you don't make enough money to drink water every day, you die, and that's okay. Like we're the wealthiest country in the world. We've figured out we're to the point in society where you have to corporations throw away food because they've made too much. And Rick Scott's sitting here talking about banning stocks for Congress and politicians, banning stock trading for Congress. And he uses this moment to say, who's against making money? It's like, no, Scott. Ask who is against getting into the public office, having the information that I have, governing industry and making monies trading on those publicly traded companies that I will oversee and have the power and write laws for or have insights to. Like, you don't get to say who's against making money because that's, not the same.
Anybody want to be poor?
Oh, he goes, anybody want to be poor? And he raises his hand like, I mean, he should be a fucking actor because at this point he could play Slender Man without even CGI. But it's absolutely, yes, Joseph Mischioni. One full-time job should be able to be enough money. 100%. That is what we believe here on this channel. Thank you. Locke, 0069. Can we talk about Bill Clinton and his 36 trips to Epstein Island? I thought it was 28. Your buddy Donald said 28, and I would guess he was right because Donald was best friends with Epstein. Much video evidence of Donald and Epstein dancing together, sharing wonderful secrets. So we could. Lock them all up. Poor 500 millionaires. Corporations are fined if they give food or good away for free without documenting it. Canjo, there is a law, I forget what it's called, it's like Bill's Law or something, where it does not punish corporations. I wish I had this up. Shit. I don't want it, but there's a law that protects corporations and allows them to give food away. I looked it up because I was so disillusioned with how much food waste we have, and it was so in case like someone gets food poisoning or something. But again, like the sentiment here. Wasn't Trump a Clinton donor? Yeah, I believe he was. Then this is my new channel. Oh, amen. Amen to that. We believe one job should be able to raise a family, get a higher education, have no medical debt. Medical debt shouldn't exist. No one should consider Uber over an ambulance. You should be able to take many vacations a year, not have to earn your sick time. And we're fighting for a better world. Everyone should be able to do well, not just the politicians. But we're listening to Slender Rick Scott, Slender Rick Scott, in opposition to the Republican-led bill to ban stock trading in Congress. And he's asking the audience to raise their hand if they want to be poor. Because if Rick Scott can't trade stocks, he'll be poor. Is that what he's saying? Like, I want to figure this out. Is this guy saying that if he's not allowed to trade stocks while he's at work during his public service, that's what he does, then he'll be poor? That's what he's saying? Interesting.
I don't.
He doesn't want to be poor. Well, I've got good news for you, Rick.
Right? So this idea that we're going to attack people because they make money is...
That's not the idea. Again, we need better people to represent us. We need someone to go, nope, I got to stop you right there. No one's attacking people, number one. And nobody's attacking people that want to make money, number two. We're saying what Jesus said. You can't serve two masters. So if you're in service to the public, you just shouldn't be stock trading. Isn't that what you've been saying? He's been saying this all along. He said, I think we should all agree, if you're just tuning in, Rick Scott's argument against Josh Hawley, other Republican, trying to ban stock trading. His argument has been, I think we can all agree that we shouldn't trade stocks. Nancy Pelosi's figured out a magical formula and has made so much money. And I was once poor. I don't want to be poor anymore. That's what he said so far. And then he asked the audience, do you want to be poor? Which none of that pertains to trading stocks. And originally he said he agrees. So what the fuck is going on?
Wrong. Is absolutely wrong. We should cherish all of our different backgrounds.
Oh, I cherish your background, Rick Scott. You set a record in America for the largest fraud in Medicare, Medicaid history. You were the CEO. You should be in the World Guinness Book of Records, or the Guinness Book of World Records.
Every one of us has a different background. I've got a business background.
Oh, did you hear him? This sounds like a South Park episode where earlier he was like, illiquid means no buyer for the business. I have a business background. I am businessman. At this point, he should tear open his suit shirt and it should be a big B. And he's like, I am businessman. I know what B2B means.
But what I was just accused of as making money is somehow I can't be fair and do things the right way.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so he gets it. So he gets it. That when you're making money trading stocks over publicly traded companies that you govern, that would be what they call, what is the word? Conflict of interest. Oh, so Scott gets it. He's not that fucking dumb.
So I think it's disgusting what is going on here.
Ooh, he thinks it's disgusting. I wonder what he thinks about Medicare fraud. Anybody know what Scott thinks about Medicare fraud?
So, but, you know, I
Did he just say so, but? Did he just say so, but?
So I think it's disgusting what is going on here.
He's appalled.
So, but.
So, but. I want to make a t-shirt that says so, but. Rick Scott. Oh my God. This dude is out of control. Rockefeller said that is never enough money. There isn't. There isn't. We have billionaires in this country. Billion. I showed a meme the other day that said if you had $1 for every year the universe was in existence, you would not make the Forbes top 50 list of richest people. And then I had to Google it because I was like, is that meme right? And it turns out the universe is only 13.7 billion years old. And I was like, holy shit, you'd be like a poor person to the wealthy. So yeah. Rick Scott is 72. Why does he want more money? See, that's the question. And the answer would be greed. These people are rubbish. I love that he my favorite thing is when Republican, well, no, my favorite thing is Charlie Kirk the other week saying, I trust my friends in the government. That is fucking hilarious. But I think my next favorite thing is when Republicans pretend to pearl clutch. You know, Republicans, the people who are like, I drink liberal tears. What do you need? A safe space? What are your pronouns? Like they love to attack and pretend like they have skin like an alligator. And then they're like, oh, I'm disgusted. You think I should not be able to trade stocks while I'm in the service of the public? Like, yup. Someone should have just stood up and said, yup. And Rick, is fraud disgusting? Were you clasping at your pearls when they were like, hey, what you're doing is illegal, biggest fraud in America? Did you go, oh, I'm disgusted?
You know, I agree with, I completely agree with you. We've got to stop people from trading stocks.
What the fuck did he just say? I haven't gotten this far in the audio. He literally. So his whole thing is, I'm disgusted you would want to ban it. I'm so sorry. We need to listen to this again. Because I want you to hear American politicians. This is nuts. They're literally saying, I'm disgusted that you would think we shouldn't trade stocks. And then in the next breath, he says, but I agree with you. We shouldn't trade stocks. You can't go, broccoli is disgusting, but I agree with you. It is the best food and we should all be eating it every day. Like, you can't fucking do that. Pick one.
But this is way different. This is an attack against the president.
Oh, wait.
Every one of us has a different background. I've got a business background. But what I was just accused of is making money, and somehow I can't be fair and do things the right way. So I think it's disgusting what is going on here.
He thinks it's disgusting.
So
what else do you think?
But, I agree with, I completely agree with you. We've got to stop people from trading stocks.
Oh, he says we got to stop people. So he means like Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. He's like, yeah, we should totally stop them. But it's disgusting that you would say, I make money trading stocks. This is I'm the vibe coach, right? And if he came into my vibe shop, and wanted help with his vibe, and he played that clip for me, I would be like, you get an A+ vibe in bullshittery. Like, that is the slimiest thing I've ever heard. Good work.
But this is way different. This is an attack against the president.
How? I want you to hear what he's saying. This is a bill to ban politicians from trading stocks. And he just said that's attack against the president. That could only mean that your president is trading stocks. That's it. Because if you feel attacked by something, that means you're doing whatever they're criticizing. I don't know. Is every accusation an admission? Is every admission? Sometimes, here's the other thing. Sometimes you just have to believe when people tell you something.
Attack against the vice president. That's what this is. So I think it's wrong.
Oh, he thinks it's wrong.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to correct that Senator Scott said that if you have a small business, you'd be forced to sell it. Small businesses are explicitly exempted under this bill.
If you missed it in the beginning of the audio, he was like, what about small businesses? Now Josh Hawley is like, that big grandstanding you did about small businesses to brag about how you know the definition of illiquid, that it means no buyer. Holly was just like, they're exempt. That this you're addressing something that doesn't exist, a boogeyman, if you will.
The 1,200 employees, they are not covered. If you have a small business, you can maintain your ownership in that business throughout the entire time. And I don't mind anybody being rich. What I mind is people getting rich while they're here trading stock, which I think we can all agree on. And this.
Does everybody agrees on that, right? Like the good Lord Yeshua Cristo said, you can't worship two masters. If you're serving the public, you can't serve the trading gods. You just can't do it. It's in the Bible. Gaslighting and saying nothing but senators can't trade stock. Who's saying Brockton? Who's saying Brockton? Elijah. Your name, what does Elijah mean? Something about God. Hey, Dylan's still here. Yeah, they all trade stocks, you know? And I think there should just be a vote for the people. Why do we it's like letting the police the police. Like, of course they're not going to police themselves, right? You should let Congress the Congress. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Anyways.
But we put a stop to it.
So 1,200 employees. I had one company with 285,000 employees. That was publicly traded, but when it was private, it was not liquid. I had a variety of manufacturing companies that had a lot of employees. That stock was illiquid. I mean, if any of you bought and sold companies, you do not have, somebody's going to buy today. I know.
Did you hear what he just said? Rick Scott, the same guy who asked the audience, does anyone want to be poor? Raise your hand. He just goes, when you're buying and selling companies, like that is what the Floridians in his constituency are fucking doing every day. This is wild. Get this dude out of politics.
You can walk out the door and there'll be somebody to buy the company. So we're going to make people sell things when it might be an absolute worst time to sell something.
I got an idea. So what he's saying is like, if you're going to go into public service and you own businesses, you don't get a buyer that day, which is not, again, trading stocks. I guess he's saying if you're invested in a company, you would have to sell them maybe for a loss. That's his whole argument here. I have an easy solution. Ready, guys? This is going to be a fucking brain breaker. Rick Scott, what you're saying is if you're going to run for public service and they pass this bill, you're going to have to sell your stocks in your companies or sell your companies. And it could be a bad time. You could take it at a loss. Or don't run for public service. I don't know. It's not like elections just happen tomorrow by surprise. They're usually, give or take, 2 to 4 years. Some planning. They usually think there's even a word for it. Campagna. Campinganga. There's a word for like planning to go to an election. And there's this like big what-do about it. And I believe it's called campanyang. It's something. It's a C word. And it's a big lead up to an election. So Rick, if you're worried about this bill forcing business owners to sell their stocks in the business when they're going to be into public service, I got an idea. Don't go into public service. No one's forcing you to. You don't have to. It's not mandatory, okay? This is not a draft. Not everyone's getting picked to have to be a mayor. Oh, god damn. Did you see that summons you got in the mail? You got to be mayor next year. Fuck. Really? I just got my business stocks up. Oh, this is going to kill me. Like, Rick, your whole fucking woe is me is some of the most sad and pathetic anybody can walk you through this bullshit. And somehow Florida is allowing you to do this. People, he works for you. He works for you. You pay his salary. He uses that salary to trade stocks, I'm assuming. I don't know. Maybe it's his fraud money. Who knows? But this guy works for everybody in America. Don't ever forget. When you vote for someone, you're giving them, you're vouching for them to represent you. These aren't elites. We don't have kings. This is not a fucking royalty. They work for the people. That's why it's called public service. Bobby Miles, if you're gonna come into this channel saying some heinous shit like Epstein level stuff, me or my mods are gonna get you out of here. Sculpted marble, Cantaleon. This is why I don't vote. Amen, Joseph. Yep. Because we need a real working class part. We need so just so everybody knows, if you're new, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I've always said, since I was younger, I said, once you turn 55, your driving license should be revoked, or you should have to take a driving test on the road every year, because old people cause the most accidents with young people. But the other thing I've always said is that politicians should, outside of being like American, politicians in America should have a net worth cutoff, like a maximum wage. Like if your average, let's find out average household in Florida, average household worth in Florida, $95,000. I believe that's high, but then again, you got the Epsteins and the Trumps living next door to each other in Palm Beach. It says the average household net worth in Florida is $95,770. Okay. Anybody know what 553,730,000 minus 95,000 is? If you're worth that much more than the average household, and it could be a percentage. We could have like Goodwill Hunting or Will Hunting come in and figure out some cool math equation where if you're worth so many times more than the average household, you can't represent them. Like that should be outlawed. Like people who are over 70, 60, 62. 62, is 62 still the retirement age, or did they push it to like 78? The retirement age is the cutoff age, just like you can't be under 35 to run for president. I say you shouldn't be over 62 to run for president. I say once you're that old, you don't understand what TikTok is. You have to have a team of people. If you don't know the technology, you shouldn't be able to run. You can't legislate shit you don't know about. And I also think there should be some kind of net worth equation that says like, if you're worth this much and the people are worth, their number isn't even in here because it's so small, you can't represent those people. Teetotaling. Thank you. My wife is mental health therapist. She's making bank since the election. Oh, I believe it. Agreed. Trump can't even open his own emails. Kanjo, he might not be wanting to open those emails. They might be old ones from Epstein. Thanks for our new boat, by the way. They don't know how Wi-Fi works. They don't. 38 or younger. 35 to 38. That's it. I would love to see a 20-year-old president. I think it'd be dope, or cowabunga, or radical. It would be skibbity. I would love to see a skibbity president. Dylan, speaking of working class, listen to Woody Guthrie and Pete Seeger. Dylan, you should join our Discord. We have how to organize, a bunch of stuff on the Discord. We should have a playlist because, yes, Woody Guthrie, Pete Seeger, Tom Morello, Kneecap, Bob Villain. There's a lot of great bands. Somebody in the chat the other day said Moonwalker. I listen to Moonwalker. Amazing. Amazing. Moonwalker is a class conscious artist. I love them. If you never served in active combat, you shouldn't be a leader either. I can get down with that. I always sculpt a marble. Speaking of that logic, right? Because when I worked in radio, people, when they would talk about business or stuff like this, they would go, how many businesses have you owned? You shouldn't chime in. And I'm like, how anti-American of you. But when we would talk about addiction and when we legalized cannabis here in America, and I was talking to the governor about it, what's his name? Charlie Baker, asshat. And he compared cannabis to the opioid epidemic. And I was like, what are you fucking talking? Like, that is so fear tactic, fear mongering. And he even said on our show, he said, well, I wouldn't overrule what the voters decide. And I was like, oh, how unfascist of you. Like, what are you talking about? But of course, he was a rich kid who grew up and CEO of pharma company, or what, I don't know what he did. But he's obviously a very wealthy person and thought cannabis, he bought into the drug war propaganda. But that logic that they would use, that if you have known to business, you shouldn't talk business or politics, I would apply to them. And I'd say, well, how long have you been an addict or in recovery? Why should you, if you've never experienced cannabis, why should you be able to compare it to something or talk like you know about it? And they would say, well, the professionals. And I would say, who are the professionals? And they would go, well, doctors. And I'd say, no, you know who the professionals are? You go to recovery meetings. Those are the professionals. Those are the professionals in that field. They will tell you about it. That's who should be legislating that stuff. Not a fan of kneecap. You're from Northern Ireland or the north of Ireland. Uh-oh. Are you one of the orange men? I love kneecap. Their movie, their artistry. By the way, Sculpted Marble, are you really from... It's revamped Reaper Madness. Are you really from Northern Ireland? If I said Dia Ditch to you, would you know what that means? Or maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. I'm learning Irish. Guelga. Es Guelga May. Or is that? I'm learning. I'm trying to. You're never too old to learn stuff, okay? Let's keep it like that, Rick Scott. Okay. Crap. Did we have other news?
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
And there it is. That's your Democracy Manifest, people. Skamala's new book, Tank Like Her Career. High Speed, Low Drag. Did you see her? She just went on Colbert. I saw that, and I disliked it. I like Colbert. I think he's done great work in comedy, and he's an improv guy, and he likes Neutral Milk Hotel, which I'm like, not many people I know like Neutral Milk Hotel. So I like Colbert, and I think he does great work for late night TV. You know, what it is. And I think I can't stand Jimmy Fallon. He is so horrible, but I like Colbert. And I love to support creators on YouTube. So when I go, I hit the like button. Sometimes I hit the like button right away just to give them a boost. Remember, this isn't like Target's channel or Walmart. Like, I want to support people who are putting themselves out there, trying to create, and I encourage you to as well. He's a British Protestant in Northern Ireland, black and tan, if you will. I don't speak Gaeilge. Oh, he's from the Protestant side. Okay. Hey, man, mend those. We're all people. Okay. Sculpted Marble, would you ever come on the live stream? I have people. I've had Doreen in France come on. Would you ever come on? If I sent you an invite, you could join our Discord and you could co-host with me. We could talk about Northern Ireland. Would you? Well, how? Hopefully you're. I don't know how old you are, but if you're a bit older, would you ever come on and we could do a short live and just talk about Northern Ireland? I think that'd be interesting. I'm just fascinated by stuff. That's the other thing. I know my live streams are news commentary, newsmentary. You're 32. Oh, that's Dylan. No, I was asking Sculpted Marble. But if you would ever come on, I love having people on. And this goes for anyone with something fascinating to talk about. Like we had Doreen on. I would love, my dream for this channel is to not just be news commentary, but to speak to people around the world, working class people, working people. You know how the Brogans are all interviewing the billionaires, telling you how unfair banking rules are, and everyone's like, oh yeah, banking rules and flat moons. Like, I would like to actually just talk to people who work around the world and what things are like. And I think, he says, maybe after my tooth extraction is healed. Oh God, that is some of the worst stuff ever. 35. Okay, yeah. So like we could rap. You're a young head to me, but we could rap for a bit. That's what I'm just concerned about. I want to make sure that we would have some kind of dialogue. It wouldn't drop, be standstill. But think about it. Join the Discord, link down below. Let's connect in there. And if you would, I don't know how long you're healing, but maybe we could have you on. We could talk about the north of Ireland or Northern Ireland. My great-grandfather came over from Southern Ireland with his parents. He built a few firehouses and fought in the Mexican border wars. NWW. That's cool. See, and I love that. Dylan, see, I'm sub, so I will be back. Great. I'm opposed to paying corporations to have your genetics, but somebody in my family did it. Everyone thought I was crazy. Everyone was like, they got me a gift. I gave it to one of my daughters. I refuse to do it. I'm not going to, like, if a corporation wants to pay me a large sum of money to get my DNA, I'm going to consider it. But I'm not going to pay you so you can have my genetics. Fuck that noise. But come to find out, I always knew that we were heavily, I didn't know we were heavily Irish, but now it turns out we're very, very heavily Irish. Because if you see, like, my aunts and uncles are all New Yorkers. They all look like the same person with just different hairstyles. That's how you know when it's real Irish. Fall River, New Bedford, Brockton. Who keeps saying Chrissy? You keep saying the South Shore stuff. Chrissy, are you from Massachusetts? But yeah, let's stay in touch. Join the Discord, link down below. I'm glad you hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I didn't even realize what time it was. Oh my God. I've been on here for so long. Holy shnikes. But I wanted to address this. I didn't even go into some other news stuff. But there is more news. And we were talking about Kamala. She went on Colbert. And she already has a book out. And I thought, that's so weak. We don't hear... This lady was like, it's going to be the end of democracy if you get Donald in there, right? Which it kind of has been. I mean, we all knew it. But it's funny because if you cared that much, right? I don't like top cops. But if you cared that much, you would have spoken out a little more. And it looked like her and Colbert tiptoed around it. And it's one of the first videos I've disliked in a long time. But I thought, like, right now is not the time for timidness and tiptoeing around the bush. Right now is the time to, like, speak out, you know? You don't remember fucking the other little girls in WW2 that didn't have, you know, like Anne Frank. She was remarkable because of her empathy and stuff. But what I'm saying is, like, people speak out. Like, you know Rosa Parks' name and not the other black lady's name who did it before Rosa Parks. I think she was even younger. So speaking out is a good thing. Big Rich. Oh, Big Rich is back. What's up, Big Rich? How you been? How you doing on this Friday? I think it's a great idea to start hosting different interesting people on your lives that would bring a lot of new viewers. Thank you. Well, Big Rich, I don't know, everyday working class people. Yeah, I don't know if you were here, Doreen, but the toughest part of this, because we've done it. I've had Doreen on, and sometimes, listen, we really want to talk. I want to talk to her about the protests, because in France, they know how to protest like no other. So I had her on, and the biggest struggle was the time difference. Trying to schedule between her work schedule, my work schedule, and then 6 hours or whatever it is to get us both on the... So that is the struggle that I go through. But ideally, just so everyone knows, I don't want this to just be news commentary. If you go through my channel, I do a lot of comedy videos. That's what I love. But I do ghost hunting videos. I do all these different kind of videos. And ideally, I would like this not just be news commentary, but if we're talking about protests in France and somebody, that's why I always say, you know, drop where you're from. You know, if you're from around the world. We had Serenity from Tasmania. If something's happening in the world, instead of hearing from the news, especially the lamestream biased media, I'd like to talk to people who are there on the ground and what their thoughts are on these things. You know what I mean? It makes more sense to get the context from someone who's been living in it, knows the buildup, not just what the TV man tells you. So that's kind of my idea that I've wanted to keep. Jay Wright. Let the addicts dictate to making legislation on cannabis since they're the professionals. I've said that for a long time. And people always gave me a hard time about it on radio, but then they had the balls to be like, why are you talking about politics or business? How many mayors have you been? How many businesses? And I'm like, then why do you motherfuckers get to talk about being poor, poverty, drug addiction? Like, you shouldn't chirp in on that if you've never experienced it. I don't totally subscribe to that, but that's their logic. So when you throw their logic back in their face, it makes what I'm trying to do is wake people up. It makes them think. Well, that will have to be a different topic, Hugo. Hugo's asking questions. I'm missing stuff. Sculpted marble. A section of Anne Frank's diary was written in ballpoint pen by her dad. The ballpoint pen wouldn't be commercially viable for another 20 years. Oh no, tinfoil hat time. I can't do it right now. I have to go get lunch. We'll take a break. Maybe I'll come back later. I have a couple things I got to do. But you guys are opening up the rabbit hole, and I would love to. Dylan, common sense would be letting doctors and rehab professionals make the laws regarding drugs. Dylan, common sense in America would be when a doctor says you need a surgery or a wheelchair or something, it's done. The doctors should be the final authority. But somehow in America, the doctors have to ask permission from the insurance companies. And if their stock is dropping, the insurance company can just say, no, doctor, we don't care what your patient needs. And that's America. It's fucking crazy. So when they say, oh, the radical woke left mob wants to take over America, what we want to do, because I'm one of them that the Republicans warned you about, what I want is when your doctor says, hey, you're going to need to be in a wheelchair, that's the final word. You get that wheelchair. There's no other questions. The doctor doesn't ask permission from the money man insurance company. And if their profits or earnings calls or Wall Street expectations aren't met, they deny you. Fuck that noise. That's what we want. So next time someone says, what's the radical leftists that are so scary? They want me to never go in debt for an ambulance ride? Doesn't sound too bad, does it? Zeke, Rob, based. That's what the kids say. Appreciate it. Healthcare is a public good. It is, numbskull. Exactly. These insurance companies shouldn't have a say in the matter at all. It's asinine. It is. And that's, I love seeing the word asinine because it's such a weird spelling for the way you say it. Big Rich, by the way, good to see you. Dylan, Oregon has the second worst drivers in all of America. Only Hawaii has the worst. I don't know. You haven't driven in Boston or LA or New York, for crying out loud. Okay, guys. I'm going to wrap this up because I've been on for 130 minutes. My Christ. Please hit subscribe. After you do, YouTube changed it. Now that turns into the notification bell. You hit it, hit the little bell, and you will join me. I'm going to try to go live later today because we only talked about Slender Man. I mean, Rick Scott saying, what do you want him to go poor? He's only worth $553 million. And if he can't trade stocks, he might go poor. That's what he said. And he said, I don't want to be broke. We listened to that audio. We will... Thank you, Jose Davis. Appreciate you. Hit subscribe. I want you guys to come back. I love the conversations we have. Even if you're a Republican, we're going to get you to take that hat off. Take the Democrat hat off. It's working people, not a culture war, a class war. I'm a constitutionalist. Ooh, we should have a whole lesson on Chevy's here. Have a great day. I'll be on the road most of it. Stay safe. Wear your seatbelt. Stop and take breaks. Much love to you guys. Peace.